Of the current leading artists in hip-hop, Kendrick and Cole invite a lot of comparisons because they have much in common, including their conscious street perspectives, low-profile images, and focus on concept albums. The exceptionalism, longevity, and impact of both artists transcends what has been accomplished by their peers. That being said, there are several key areas in which we judge our favorite hip-hop artists, and we'll organize our breakdown of the careers of Kendrick and Cole by these four general categories: skill, discography, commercial success, and impact. Skill is a very broad term in the world of music. Knowing this, we decided to highlight several key factors in our assessments of both Kendrick and Cole. As rappers, we'll look at lyricism, cadence, and versatility. On the production side, we'll look at the successes each artist has had as either producers or executive producers of their projects. Lyricism. Despite being a subcategory of skill, even lyricism can be broken down into many parts. Among the important ones are use of literary devices, storytelling, imagery, and simply put, making people feel something purely through words. The Kendrick advantage in lyricism might be clear-cut, but there is a case to be made for Cole. Starting with Kendrick, he not only has a solid active vocabulary, but he often stretches punchlines or strings them together over multiple bars to compound their effect. When he's not using punchlines, Kendrick excels at vivid and unique metaphors like his skydiving metaphor in his Control verse, or in alliterative line like, "Cats so watered down clowns could sink Titanic, titanium round their neck and watch them panic, on ignorance is bliss." Last but not least, Kendrick Lamar is a very special storyteller. He often passes up a bar-heavy approach to make room for poetic songwriting. He can do this in a verse like in his Mona Lisa feature alongside Lil Wayne, a song like The Art of Peer Pressure, or over the course of an entire album like Good Kid, Mad City, or his robust second album, To Pimp a Butterfly. It's this ability more than anything that sets Kendrick apart as a lyricist. Cole, of course, has proven himself in all of those areas as well, but it's hard to say he equals or surpasses Kendrick in them. Cole's punchline ability has always been a big part of his rapping and has improved over time, perhaps peaking in 2018 with his relentless streak of features such as Off These. And while he may not create the vivid feature films Kendrick can with his verses, Cole's lyrical imagery has been superb and usually paired with his best storytelling. The quality of his storytelling stepped up a level on Born Sinner and has since evolved into a humble and detailed approach seen in songs like Tale of Two Cities, Neighbors, and Kevin's Heart, with bars that provide sharp settings, well-developed characters, and attention-grabbing events. Both rappers have given us years of quotable punchlines, social commentary, boasts, and stories. But when it comes to consistency and uniqueness in addition to quality, the point goes to Kendrick. Kendrick 1, Cole 0. Next is cadence, a term we're using instead of flow because it includes flow as well as vocal inflection. Kendrick has a visible edge in this department given his early displays of acrobatic flows and voice manipulation. Older songs like Rigor Mortis and The Heart Part 2 show us Kendrick could cram syllables into bars as well as anyone and still give us meaningful lyrics. In Good Kid, Mad City tracks such as Don't Kill My Vibe and Sing About Me, he gave songs emotional layers using his nasally higher-pitched voice. He has since incorporated his inflection as well as more use of phasers, pitch shifters, and off-kilter deliveries to vividly portray innocence, childhood ignorance, and other states of being. Songs like You, Love, and Lust have the effects that they do because of Kendrick's focused tweaks of voice and flow. Cole too can spit fire, but is in his comfort zone with methodical, train-of-thought flows. He has grown into more experimentation, shown in his wider range of verses, from the somber, measured flow on Black's Pretty Little Fears to his triumphant, aggressive hit single Middle Child. Not to mention the recent use of an alter ego in the form of Kill Edward on his 2018 album KOD. Another point to Cole is his braver use of singing. While he may not be the most gifted singer, he makes good use of melody and his rough baritone voice to add sincere emotion on tracks like fan favorites Love Yours and Apparently. Clearly, both Cole and Kendrick can flow however they want on a beat. But despite the growth Cole has achieved with his voice and flow, Kendrick is arguably the most successful voice and flow manipulator in hip-hop. Even when Kendrick's vocal experiments annoy fans, he achieves his artistic goals and has never let his rapping slip in quality while doing it. Point to Kendrick. Kendrick 2, Cole 0. Versatility. The discussion on versatility is tricky. J. Cole's 2018 run arguably makes him the superior feature rapper, someone who consistently adds both depth and the right energy to a wide range of tracks. But in their solo discographies, Kendrick has been more willing and able to switch it up, both vocally and sonically. To be fair, Kendrick has had his fair share of fire features for years on songs like Collard Greens, Nostalgia, and New Freezer. But listeners often think he sounds out of place on songs outside of his comfort zone, such as Future's Mask Off and 2 Chainz's Mama I Hit a Lick. If you give more weight to what an artist does in their own discography, the edge goes to Kendrick. On the whole though, Cole has done enough in the game to make this one a toss-up. We'll give each artist half a point in this category. Kendrick 2.5 and Cole 0.5. In terms of creating music for their projects, Cole is clearly the better producer. Of the 67 tracks in the standard versions of J. Cole's solo albums, only 9 of them do not have a Cole production credit. He had a direct hand in producing many of his greatest deep cuts and radio hits, including Workout, Power Trip, and Get Off My Dig, which were all produced exclusively by Cole. But what gives Kendrick a chance in this category is his incredible ear and hands-on approach to the production of his projects. Collaborators such as Flying Lotus have mentioned Kendrick's intense involvement in the production of his albums. So even if he's not pressing the buttons, Kendrick gets respect for orchestrating his daring sounds. Kendrick is also known for being a serial hoarder of beats, and his habit of sound collection is what led to Pimp a Butterfly sounding so cohesive in its jazz funk hip hop recipe. His ear as an executive producer was further proven as the executive producer of the Black Panther soundtrack. There's a case to be made that Kendrick's sound has achieved more, but there's no denying Cole's producer chops. The point here goes to Cole. Kendrick 2.5, Cole 1.5. Discography. Next up is weighing the discography of the two artists in terms of quality. For the sake of brevity, we'll skim over each pre-debut album catalog and focus mostly on each artist's work after their official debut album. We will mark Section 80 as Kendrick's debut rather than his major label debut, Good Kid, Mad City. Starting with Kendrick, he has 5 mixtapes and an EP to his credit before his 2011 album Section 80. Like any respectable mixtape-era rapper, Kendrick's mixtape served as an introduction to his ability. From YHNIC to C4, Kendrick's general focus was spitting brag-heavy heat with doses of social awareness. The Kendrick Lamar EP was his first project going by the name Kendrick Lamar instead of K-Dot, containing more reflective songs such as P&P and Wanna Be Heard. His last mixtape, Overly Dedicated, gave us wisdom-filled standouts such as Cut You Off, HOC, and Ignorance is Bliss. The vibes and songwriting on Overly Dedicated set the tone for Section 80 to become the low-key classic that it is. J. Cole had 3 mixtapes and the Any Given Sunday series prior to his debut album, and it's one of the biggest mixtape series in hip-hop history. The Come Up, The Warm Up, and Friday Night Lights tell an amazing dream-chasing story and evoke a triumphant underdog feel that is now hip-hop lore. Some of Cole's most captivating production and rapping to this day can be found on those mixtapes. Kendrick may have become rap's golden child with Section 80, but classic cuts like Dollar in a Dream, Lights Please, and Grown Simba ensured Cole's desperately hungry mixtapes left more of a mark than Kendrick's pre-album work. In a tough one, the point here goes to Cole. Kendrick 2.5 and Cole 2.5. Post-debut album. Obviously, the greatest artists don't stagnate. As impressive as Cole and Kendrick were before their debut albums, they challenged and reinvented themselves to become the stars they are today. For J. Cole, this meant completing his sports-themed storyline with his debut album Cole World, The Sideline Story, then growing into a humbler, more personal artist. Born Sinner was a step up in Cole's songwriting and reflectiveness, with mainstream hits that had skillfully conscious writing such as Power Trip and Crooked Smile. With no features and an intense focus on his hometown, 2014 Forest Hills Drive saw J. Cole achieve something nearly impossible. He retreated from the mainstream and became more popular. The album also cemented his status in the game as a great, due to his ability to carry a platinum project by himself as well as lead the production. While the pace and the sound of the album do not silence claims that Cole was boring, the album gave us his most impressive personal songs, and the project had an undeniably large and strong following. His fourth album, For Your Eyes Only, was received in a lesser but similar way. After that career-defining period, Cole solidified his legacy as a popular conscious rapper with the trap-influenced KOD and an MVP performance on one of hip-hop's best collab albums ever, Revenge of the Dreamers 3. Cole is one of the only mainstream rappers ever to have an increasingly humble image while growing in stature. Along with the thoughtful nature of his content, few can top JCole's body of work. So what about Kendrick Lamar? Kendrick has always been more of a critic's favorite than Cole because of the scope and execution of his projects. His refined ability to tell the story of Compton from many different viewpoints in Section 80 foreshadowed his run of powerful concept albums. Throughout his discography, Kendrick Lamar has been able to paint in full color what it's like to be the shooter, the slain, the vulnerable girl, the demon-filled man, and more. As he's taken on more perspectives, Kendrick has shifted his sound to reflect those viewpoints. This focus on telling the story of Compton and Black America from all angles also keeps people from growing tired of his voice and flows. Of today's A-list rappers, Kendrick might be the most unpredictable yet, and the most consistent in the quality of rapping. Going from personal short film and Good Kid to the sprawling social commentary of To Pimp a Butterfly, back to a deep yet pop-friendly personal account in Damn, has proven his versatility and artistry is second to none. His envelope pushing can also be observed in the 2016 album Untitled Unmastered, a collection of demos from To Pimp a Butterfly sessions that received critical acclaim and topped the Billboard 200. With all the deserved love and respect to Cole's work, we gotta say Kendrick Lamar's albums reign supreme. Kendrick 3.5 and Cole 2.5. Impact. To measure impact, we'll discuss the following areas: sound, standards, and new artists influenced by Cole and Kendrick. Sound. As discussed earlier, Kendrick Lamar's discography has a bolder array of sound than Cole's. Giving credit to his production ability, Cole's sound rarely strays from its stripped-down, new-age take on the drum-heavy vintage New York sound. Cole's sound is generally as humble as his image, which works very well for him, but doesn't make his sound influential. On the contrary, Kendrick Lamar's major label albums have gone from the dreamy and hard-hitting LA vibes in Good Kid, to the textured, multi-genre sound of Blackness in To Pimp a Butterfly, to the loud yet layered pop rap record, Damn. While neither rapper has a sound that shifted all of hip-hop, Kendrick's sonic choices constantly evolve and serve as a model for rappers looking to stand out from a crowd and still sell. It also isn't a stretch to say Kendrick's sound has influenced the work of younger concept-driven rappers, such as the promising fellow Compton rapper Boogie. Point, Kendrick. Kendrick 4.5, Cole 3.5. Standards. Again, despite their respective excellence, Cole and Kendrick have not rewritten the game in the way influential figures like Rakim, 50 Cent, and Kanye West have. That being said, both rappers are largely responsible for proving that wholesome and thought-provoking rap can succeed as much as pop-friendly rap in the mainstream arena. Kendrick in particular has become a voice to the Black Lives Matter movement, and both rappers had a hand in the surge of nationwide social consciousness after the death of Trayvon Martin. We'll split the points in this category: Kendrick 5, Cole 4. Other artists. Lastly, time will tell how influential both Cole and Kendrick will be on newer artists. As of now, frequent collaborators of each artist, along with any rapper who wants to be conscious and mainstream in today's game, owes JCole and Kendrick Lamar some level of credit. As of now, Cole's position as owner and chief talent scout of Dreamville is deepening his mark in the game. Cole's team building is greatly responsible for the success of several rising stars in hip-hop and R&B, including JID, Earth Gang, and Ari Lennox. Knowing that Kendrick Lamar has executive producer skills, we'll have to see if he grows into an exec role at TDE or starts his own imprint altogether. Regardless, both rappers are in position to send steady waves of influence as they age. For the sake of an answer, we'll give this category to Cole at this time. Kendrick 5, Cole 5. Clearly, tally marks are not a sufficient way to capture the greatness of any artist. If you get anything from this video, know that rappers at the peak of their field deserve more appreciation for what they bring and less criticism for the sake of impossible black and white ratings. With the facts of their careers laid out, we hope you can make better arguments and have more respect for the contributions of Kendrick Lamar and JCole. This has been a Hip Hop Madness original. Make sure to stay tuned and stay up to date with everything we got going on by hitting that subscribe button and notification bell. Oh, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HipHopMadness and join the movement.